Today, we're diving into one of the biggest puzzles out there, something that really challenges how we think about power and creation. The question is this: why would an all-powerful creator ever choose to become a creature?
It's a question that gets right to the heart of everything, doesn't it? Why would the author of reality, the one who is literally everywhere and all-powerful, decide to step into the story as just another character? It seems like a huge paradox. To solve it, we first have to really understand just how big of a change this was.
So let's start by looking at the sheer scale of this transformation. This wasn't just putting on a disguise. We're talking about a fundamental shift in status, in power, and it was all done for a very specific cosmic reason.
Okay, this is a really crucial distinction. Before becoming human, the source describes the second person of the Trinity as the owner of space-time. Think about that. He owned reality itself, holding it all together. But then he willingly set that aside to become Jesus, a created being, with the goal of becoming the inheritor of that very same reality. He went from being the owner to being the heir.
Right, so this wasn't a demotion, not at all. It was a strategy. By becoming a created being and living a life of perfect obedience all the way to the cross, he would earn the right to rule in a completely new and unchallengeable way. He was going to inherit the throne not just because it was his, but because he earned it. But that just leads to a bigger question. Why was a plan this elaborate even necessary?
The next piece of our puzzle shows us that this whole incredible strategy was basically a rescue mission. It was set in motion because something went terribly wrong right at the start of the human story. A vital piece of authority was lost.
The source material breaks it down pretty clearly. Adam was given a job. He was made the manager of creation, given authority to protect it and help it flourish. But when he was put to the test, he chose sin. And in that one act, he basically forfeited his position. He handed over the keys.
This created a massive legal problem, spiritually speaking. You see, Adam's authority was conditional. It was like he had a lease on the property, but he didn't own the deed. By failing his one job, he broke the terms of that lease. This created a power vacuum that needed to be filled by someone who could legally and legitimately take back the deed to creation. Okay, so we have this huge legal and spiritual mess. Who on earth could fix it? Well, this is where the perfect candidate comes in. According to this framework, the Messiah was uniquely qualified for the job because he had a three-in-one role, like a multi-tool designed to fix every single part of what was broken.
Let's look at this toolkit, right? As a prophet, he shines a light on the problem itself, sin. As a priest, he provides the solution for anyone who wants it, atonement. And then, as a king, he has the authority to judge those who just refuse the solution. You see how it's a complete system? It's designed to restore order perfectly.
And now we get to the most mind-bending part of the whole plan. The main tool used to get back all that lost authority wasn't some overwhelming show of force. No, it was an act of what looked like absolute weakness.
The way the source presents it, the cross is so much more than a historical event. It's described as this incredibly sophisticated divine mechanism. It's the centerpiece of the whole operation, designed to do multiple things all at the same time.
So what did it actually prove? Well, first it proved God's incredible love, the price he was willing to pay. It also satisfied divine justice, showing that sin has a real, massive cost. It exposed what evil really is by showing that if you let it run its course, it would try to kill God himself. And then, with the resurrection, it defeated death for good. It's like a masterstroke that solves 4 problems at once.
This really gets to the core logic of the whole thing. Why not just use force? Because force can make people obey, sure, but it can never, ever change their hearts. It always leaves the door open for rebellion. The goal here wasn't to create robots. It was to perfect free will, to have creatures who willingly choose to be in sync with their creator, and that can only be inspired by love.
And right here, this is the answer to our puzzle. This is the central idea of the entire argument. The whole unbelievably complex plan. God becoming human, the fall, the Messiah's 3 roles, the cross. It was all designed to build a kingdom that runs not on coercion, but on love.
So, how do all these pieces finally click into place? We're about to see how this whole plan forges a brand new reality, what you could call the rulership of love.
You see, God becoming a vulnerable human is the ultimate test. It's a perfect sorting mechanism for humanity. How do you react to a king who rules by serving and sacrificing? Your answer to that question, to that kind of love-based power, reveals everything. It shows what kind of ruler you truly want in your heart.
According to the source, this choice leads to one of two final outcomes. If you submit to this King of Love, it leads to eternal life in his kingdom. But if you reject that authority, if you choose disobedience, it leads to what the text calls the lake of fire, which is described as being separated forever. The choice you make is a direct consequence of your response to this new way of ruling.
So, to bring it all home, Jesus, as the last Adam, did what the first Adam couldn't. Through his sacrifice, he didn't just inspire us with love, he legally bought back the deed to all of creation. This one act earned him the undisputed authority to both judge the world and ultimately to perfect it. He became the rightful owner once and for all.
And that leaves us with one last massive idea to think about. This entire theological system is built on this one really radical thought, that the best way to defeat evil and perfect a universe of free beings isn't with overwhelming power, but with sacrificial love, a plan so wild it required the creator of everything to become a creature.